Dear students, Namaste and welcome you to the next class of compulsory English. How are you, dear students? I hope you are all fine and ready to learn. Are you? Very good. Dear students, do you know what we are going to do today? Yes, wonderful. We'll do pronunciation, listening and speaking from Unit 14 of your textbook. Are you ready to learn? Okay, let's start with pronunciation. Okay? Great. Dear students, please turn your book to the pronunciation section of Unit 14. Okay? Right. Did you turn? Okay, very good. Let's start the activity then. See there, it says listen to your teacher and repeat after him or her. Notice the mark. See there, dear students, in each word there, you can see this kind of mark. Okay, do you see? In each word there, you can see this kind of mark. Okay. For example, you look at the first word. Do you see this mark there? Okay, this one. So, what does this indicate, this mark? Can you say? Can you say what does this mark indicate here? Okay, so it is known as stress marker. Did you understand? It is known as stress marker. So, you can find this in each word there in your exercise. Did you see? Okay, now I'll pronounce these words and then you'll follow me. First, I'll play the audio. You'll hear the dictionary pronunciation. Then you listen to me how I pronounce it. Okay? Are you ready to do that? Very good. So listen the first word, how it is pronounced. Okay, are you ready? Very good. Listen.
Portion,
Again.
portion,
So did you hear? It is pronounced as person. Okay. So the first syllable is pronounced with relatively loudness. Means when you heard this word, the first syllable or the first part, which I have already underlined here, was pronounced with a little louder or loudness than other portion or other part of this word. Did you realize that? Okay, that's good. Now we'll do in the same way. Okay, are you ready? All right. So let's do the second word. Okay, listen. Right?
glacier, glacier,
Okay, so glacier, glacier. So the first part, you can see the marker there is again pronounced with relatively louder voice. Okay. Now next, in the same way, listen how it is pronounced.
summit, summit,
Okay, summit, right? Summit. Next, you see this time the marker or the stress marker is in the middle. So listen carefully.
expedition,
Okay.
expedition,
Did you listen? Expedition, dition. See, the sound is louder when you pronounce D there. Okay, expedition. Okay. Similarly, next word. Okay.
approximately, approximately,
Okay. So approximately. Okay. So the sound becomes louder when you pronounce pa. Okay. Pra. Okay. Next. Okay. Conquer.
conquer, conquer,
Now let's move on to next word. Okay. Listen to the pronunciation.
elevation, elevation,
Right. Let's move on to next. Okay, it's pronounced as elevation. So the stress is there at bha sound. Okay, remember. Similarly, next You see? Listen to the sound or
Fraction.
pronunciation.
Fraction.
Yeah, it's fraction. Okay, so the sound becomes louder when you pronounce okay, fraction. Okay, next, right, see there, listen
Proportion.
the sound. Okay,
Proportion.
see there, the sound is louder when you pronounce person. Okay, person. So you look at the place where the marker is kept there. Look at the last word there. What's there? Okay. So listen
Successfully.
again.
Successfully.
See? Successfully. So the sound is louder when you say says. Okay, successfully. All right, dear students, I hope you could read these words again, practice yourself. So again, pay attention to the part where the stress marker is kept. The sound becomes relatively louder at that part of the word. Okay? Okay, students, you did a wonderful job. Now let's move ahead. We'll do the next activity now. So please turn your book to speaking activities. Okay? Look at the speaking section there. We'll start with the first activity there. What's the first activity? Right, it's act out the following conversation. It says act out the following conversations, means there are conversations, you need to act out them. Okay, so we'll do together, we'll act out together. Okay, so let's look at the first conversation there. There's a picture, you can see two people there talking. So see, the first person asks, how tall is the tree? Means the person wants to know the height of the tree. And see how the second person answers it. Okay, it's about 20 meters tall. So they are talking about the height of the tree. Got it? Similarly, let's look at next. Okay, see, how much does it weigh? The first person asks, how much does it weigh? And the next replies, it's 20 kilos. Okay. So they are talking about the weight. Similarly, you look at the next picture. So see, how far is the nearest museum from here? The first person asks there. And what does the second person reply? What's the answer? You see, it's about a 20-minute walk. Okay, dear students, did you get how the people were talking there? So you need to know here, so because we are going to do the next exercise. You look at next exercise, exercise B. So this time you are going to do this exercise or exercise B from your textbook. Here you need to ask the questions and answer them. So while asking and answering questions, you need to be more careful about using the question words here, which you have already practiced in exercise A. Let me remind you, for example, while practicing the conversations in exercise A, when we wanted to know, okay, when we wanted to know the height of the person or height of the tree, what question did we ask? Can you remember? Okay, very good. So we asked how tall is this tree? So we used how tall, or sometimes we can also use how high. Okay, how high. For example, how high is the Mount Everest? Okay, how high is Mount Everest? Okay, we can say. Similarly, do you remember in the next conversation we talked about the weight? Okay, so what was the question? Can you remember? Okay, how much? We used the question word how much. How much does this weigh? Okay, so how much for weight? Okay, how tall for height? How much for weight? Similarly, how far? Do you remember we have used this also? How far? Okay, do you remember? How far is the bus park from here? For example, we can ask this way. So, how far is used to talk about distance. Very good. You did a wonderful job. Now, using similar structures, you are going to ask the questions as well as answer them. Are you ready to do that? Very good. Okay, first let us look at the situations given there. See the first one. So, time to get to your school 20 minutes. Second, you see there kerosene you need 5 liters. The quantity is given in the next side. Okay, 20 minutes, 5 liters. Your school from the bus park 3 kilometers. Your father 5 feet. Next question, your weight 35 kg. The situation in F, see there your classroom window 3 feet. And the last situation, how long Koshi river? 720 kilometers. So, using these situations, we need to ask the questions and also answer them. Okay? So, let us start with the first one. See there, what's there? Time to get to your school 20 minutes. So, what question do you ask? Very good, exactly, you need to ask in the same way. See, Bina has asked the same question. How long does it take you to get to your school? Okay. How long does it take you to get to your school? And what do you answer? Yes, exactly. See, Mohit has answered in the same way. It takes about 20 minutes, or simply it takes 20 minutes, you can say. Okay. Now, let us move on to next. Kerosene unit 5 liters. Okay. So, kerosene, you know well what kerosene is. Okay. So, sometimes we use traditionally to light the lamps also, you may remember. Okay. You may ask your parents also. So, it is used as fuel. Okay. So, how much kerosene do you need can be a question. See there, Nima has asked the same question. How much kerosene do you need? And can you guess what can be the answer to this question? Exactly, exactly. See what Lata has said? I need 5 liters. Okay. This is the way, I need 5 liters. Okay, let us move on to next. So, see the next situation, your school from the bus park 3 kilometers. Can you guess what do you need to ask here, or what do you need to know here? Is it height? Is it weight? Is it distance? Exactly, it is the distance. Very good. So, what question do you need to ask then if it is a distance? Exactly. How far is your school from the bus park? Very good. How far is your school from the bus park? Very good. Now, can you answer this question? Can you say? Okay, that is good. So, as Punita has said, it is 3 kilometers or it is 3 km. Okay. All right, dear students, you are doing well. So, let us move on to the next situation. So, see there, your father 5 feet. Can you guess what we are going to ask about? Is it weight? No, okay. No, certainly not. It is height. Very good. So, see there, how tall is your father? This is the way we ask for the height. Okay. And what will be the answer? Excellent. It will be, he is 5 feet. Very good. Let us do the next. Your weight 35 kg. Okay. So, what will be the question in this situation? It will be, what's your weight? In this way also we can ask, or we can ask as we practiced earlier, how much do you weigh? Okay. So, two ways are possible. You can simply ask, what's your weight? Or you can ask as we did before, how much do you weigh? Okay. So, what will be the answer? Right, I am 35 kg. Okay. Now, the next situation. Okay. Your classroom window 3 feet. So, see, the question will be, how long is your classroom window? Okay. How long? Because we are asking the length. Okay. And the answer will be, okay, it's 3 feet. Very good. Now, the next situation there. Okay. See, how long Kosi River, and there is 720 kilometer. You see, 720 kilometer. How do you ask the question? What are we going to ask? Exactly, we are going to ask the length. Okay, we are going to ask the length. That's good. So, see, how long is the Kosi River? Okay, how long is the Kosi River? And the answer is exactly, it's 720 kilometer. Okay, dear students, you really did well. Now, let's do exercise C. Please look at there. What does it say? Work in groups. Take turns to ask and answer questions. Think about different questions you could ask about height, weight and distance. See there, about height, weight and distance, which we have already practiced. And while answering, you need to be honest. Okay, your friend may ask these questions and you need to answer them honestly. So, let's see what can be the possible questions, okay, or what can you ask. For example, okay, you can ask, how tall are you? Simply. And if you ask me, okay, I'll just say I am 5 feet 1 inch tall. I am honest to the answer. Okay. Similarly, what can be the next question? How much do you weigh? Okay, you may ask about the weight. So, if you ask me, I'll say I am 62 kg. Okay. So, in the same way you can answer. Next question can be, how far is your school from your home? You will tell your friend the distance. Okay. For example, you can say it's 7 kilometer, 3 kilometer, 2 kilometers, or sometimes you can also say the time it takes. For example, it's a 20 minutes walk or it's a 30 minutes walk, you can say. Okay. Next, you can also ask, what's your father's weight, or how much does your father weigh? Similarly, you can ask, what's your mother's weight, or how much does your mother weigh? Okay. Similarly, you can ask, how far is the nearest bus stop from your home? In this way, you can ask various questions. Okay. Got it? All right. Now, I am going to assign you a task, okay, as home assignment. So, there are some questions. Please take a note of them and do it. Okay. So, there is a situation. You are buying a packet of wet flour. You want to know the weight of the packet. Now, in this situation, you need to ask a question. If you want to know the weight of the packet of the wet flour, what question do you ask? Okay. So, you will be asking this question to your friend, to your parent, or you can also practice in the classroom even with your teacher. Okay. So, next situation is, you are visiting a park in a town. There is a tower and you want to know its height. Please note down the situation. Okay. So, you are visiting a park in a town, there is a tower. So, you want to know its height means you want to know the height of the tower there. So, you may ask your friend there or some guards in the park there, or you can ask your parents. So, practice it. Okay. Next, you meet an elderly woman on the way to school. You want to know her age. Means if you want to know someone else's age, what question do you ask? Okay. So, you can ask anybody else. Next, you are in a new place. you want to know how far is your hotel from the bus park. For example, you just reach the bus park and you have to go to a certain hotel, maybe Aranika Hotel, maybe Salty Hotel, maybe any hotel. So, you will be asking a question to a person nearby about the distance. Okay? So, practice it also. Dear students, till now we introduced the topic, that means what we are going to discuss today. We discussed first, then we did some pronunciation practice, especially it was related to stress. Okay? You did well. Similarly, the next thing we did was we learned to ask the questions about quantity, especially related to distance, related to height, related to weight. We asked the questions. Similarly, we also learned to talk about them. We answered those questions also. Now, can you guess what next we are going to do? What can be the next activity we are going to do? Exactly, we are going to do listening activity. So, please turn a book to listening activities. Okay? So, dear students, let us start listening activity with exercise A. Are you ready? So, in exercise A, do you see a picture there? Okay. So, looking at this picture, you need to answer the questions given there. So, see the first question there. Okay. What do you see in the picture? What's it? What is this picture? Can you guess? Very good. It's a canal. Very good. And look at the second question. What's the second question? Have you seen this in your locality and where? Certainly, you might have seen, because some of you might have helped your parents working in the farm, or some of you walk every day by the side of canals, or sometimes even your parents might be farmers and you might have gone to the field working to work with them. So, you might have seen these things. In my case, I have seen this, so I say Ace, and I have seen this in my field. So, because I have one in my field, so I say I have seen it in my field. Look at the last question. What is it used for? Here it means, yes, the canal. Okay. So, what is the canal used for? Can you guess? Very good. We use the canals to irrigate the fields, or that means to supply water to the fields, okay, to water the plants in the fields. Okay. Very good, dear students. Now, we are going to do the real listening activity. Okay. So, when you practice real listening activity, this time you need to know that you are going to listen to the audio and do the task. So, you will listen to the audio for 3 times. For the first time, you will just listen it to be familiar with it. The second time you listen to it, you will be doing the exercise. And the third time, when you listen, you will make necessary corrections in your answers if you need. And then we will discuss the answers. I hope you got. Did you understand what I said? Okay. So, 3 times. You listen to the audio for 3 times. Okay. Before you listen to the audio, please look at exercise B in your textbook. Go through the exercise here. Okay. See, it reads, now listen to the audio and complete the sentences. Use one word only. Okay. It says. So, look at first one. The Panama Canal connects the Pacific and the ... ocean. Similarly, second, the ... began to construct the canal in 1881. Third one, almost ... people died while building the canal. Next, the USA handed the canal to Panama in ... Last one, every year almost 40,000 come through the canal. Now, you listen to the audio and find out what is the suitable word to be filled in the blank space. You'll pick up that word and fill these blank spaces. Did you get? Very good. So, now listen to the audio for the first time, and remember, you are not going to do the task this time. You'll just be familiar with the audio, okay? So, please listen. Are you ready? Okay, here goes the audio.
The Panama Canal is an artificial waterway in the Central American country of Panama that connects the Atlantic and Pacific Ocean. It is only 82 kilometers long. It takes around 8 to 10 hours to cross the canal. The French started building the canal in 1881, but they couldn't finish it. The project was started again in 1904 by the United States, and the canal was finally finished in 1914. Many people died while they were building the canal, some say up to 25,000. For the rest of the 20th century, the United States controlled the canal, but gave control back to Panama in 2000. Every year, around 40,000 ships come through the canal. These are mostly commercial ships. They transport goods for trade between Asia and America or Europe.
Okay, student, I hope you became familiar with the audio. Now, you are going to listen to the audio for the second time. This time, along with listening to the audio, you will also do the task. That means, you will pick up the words and fill in the blank spaces. Okay? Are you ready to do that? Alright, here goes the audio then.
The Panama Canal is an artificial waterway in the Central American country of Panama that connects the Atlantic and Pacific Ocean. It is only 82 kilometers long. It takes around 8 to 10 hours to cross the canal. The French started building the canal in 1881, but they couldn't finish it. The project was started again in 1904 by the United States, and the canal was finally finished in 1914. Many people died while they were building the canal, some say up to 25,000. For the rest of the 20th century, the United States controlled the canal, but gave control back to Panama in 2000. Every year, around 40,000 ships come through the canal. These are mostly commercial ships. They transport goods for trade between Asia and America or Europe.
Okay, students, I hope you did the task. But do not worry even if you have not completed all the sentences, or do not worry if any of your answer has gone wrong, because you are going to listen to the audio once again. This time, if you have not completed, you will complete, as well as if you find any wrong answer, you can correct it. Okay? So, you are going to listen to the audio for the third time now. Are you ready? Very good. Here goes the audio.
The Panama Canal is an artificial waterway in the Central American country of Panama that connects the Atlantic and Pacific Ocean. It is only 82 kilometers long. It takes around 8 to 10 hours to cross the canal. The French started building the canal in 1881, but they couldn't finish it. The project was started again in 1904 by the United States, and the canal was finally finished in 1914. Many people died while they were building the canal, some say up to 25,000. For the rest of the 20th century, the United States controlled the canal, but gave control back to Panama in 2000. Every year, around 40,000 ships come through the canal. These are mostly commercial ships. They transport goods for trade between Asia and America or Europe.
Alright, dear students, I hope you have already completed the task, as well as you have made necessary corrections in your answers. Have you done? Very good. Now, we will discuss the answers one by one. Okay? So, let us start with the first one. The Panama Canal connects the Pacific and the Ocean. So, in this blank space, you need to write a name of the ocean. What did you write here? Very good. Atlantic. That's good. The Panama Canal connects the Pacific and the Atlantic Ocean. That's good. Okay, let's do B. So, the began to construct the canal in 1881. So, here you need to write who constructed or who started the construction of the canal. Okay. So, what did you write here? Right, it is French. The French began to construct the canal in 1881. That is good. Alright, let us move on to next. Almost people died while building the canal. So, here you need to write the number of people who died while building the canal. And what did you write there? Okay, that is good. It is 25,000. So, almost 25,000 people died while building the canal. That is good. You are doing well. Okay, let us look at D. The USA handed the canal to Panama in ... So, do you know what do you need to write here? Exactly, you need to write the year when the USA handed the canal to Panama. You need to write the year. And what did you write then? Exactly, that is good. 2000. In 2000, the USA handed the canal to Panama. Okay, very good. Now, the last one. Every year, almost 40,000 ... come through the canal. What come? Okay, what might be there? Can you guess? Okay, very good. Ships, you have written ships. That's quite good. Every year, almost 40,000 ships come through the canal. Dear students, you really did well. Now, let us move on to next exercise C. Please look at there in your textbook. Okay. So, it reads, surf the internet or visit the library and find out more statistics about the Panama Canal and share them with your friends. Means you need to collect more information about the Panama Canal. For that, you can surf the internet, or you can also visit the library and find out the information about the canal. Okay. For example, I have collected some information about it. You can take it as a reference and you can look for other information also. Okay. So, see, it lies in Panama, the American country Panama. Okay. It lies in Panama. Panama is a name of a country, you need to know. Next, it is one of the man-made wonders of the world. See, the canal is not a natural canal. Okay. It is a man-made canal, and through which ships, okay, ships can move. So, it is a wonder of the world. Next, you have already learnt it connects the Pacific and the Atlantic Ocean. It is the shortcut. Okay, it is the shortcut to these two oceans. Otherwise, there was land between them. Okay. Next, you have already learnt the French began to build the canal in 1881. Okay, you know well. Later, see, the US controlled it. The US controlled the canal. Okay. Now also, the US or the USA mostly uses the canal. But the US or the USA handed it over to Panama in 2000. Okay. Later, first it controlled it and later it is handed over to the country Panama. Okay. Similarly, look at next information. It takes about 8 hours to cross the canal. Okay. For example, if you are starting the journey from one point or one opening of the canal and you reach to the end of the canal, it takes you 8 hours. And you see, it's over 100 years old. Means you are not counting here from the date when the construction started. You are counting the time from which the canal was being used. Okay? So, if we count that, it has already been 100 years that people have been using this canal. Okay? So, these are the information about the Panama Canal. Okay? So, this activity suggests you to find more information. For this, you can search in the internet, you can take the help of Google, or you can also watch the video related to Panama Canal on YouTube and get the information. Or if you do not have the access to the internet, there may be books in your school's library. You can go there and study or get information about it. Can you do that? Very good. Dear students, we are almost at the end of today's lesson. Today, we practiced some pronunciation practices. That means we learned to pronounce the words with stress. Similarly, we also learned to ask questions and answer them that were related to the quantity, especially the distance, the height, the weight. Similarly, we also did some listening practice. We listened to an audio and did comprehension practice. You really did well. I hope the lesson will be helpful in your learning. Dear students, thank you very much. Namaste and goodbye.